One of my friends was just saying like, "Oh, you're talking to Michaela? I hear she does 90% of her climbing on boards."
This is Climbing Gold.
So
Yeah,
just
it's
it's like just
true.
straight board. That's true?
Yeah, it's true. I think because on the boards, like you just have access to such a high volume of hard moves, where in the commercial setting on a, let's just say a V7, you'll have like one or two crux moves. But on the boards, every move can be a crux move. So you just like get that high density of hard, challenging moves. And I think like for my training, that's what I need.
Yeah, it's interesting because in some ways that's how I see board climbing in relation to sport climbing or trad climbing or other things where it's like, oh, when you do something on a board, you're climbing just the crux of a route or whatever. And you're saying that every move on the board is like the crux of, it's like you're distilling it down even deeper where you're like, I only want the hardest moves all the time.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh,
exactly.
geez,
Well, if you're training, if you're trying to train power, then you want to like pack a punch, all the powerful moves that you can, right?
totally.
And like at the gyms here, it's not like there's hundreds of boulders to climb on the commercial sides, you know? So like on the board, I can get like, you know, 30 boulders in a session, and there's not 30 hard boulders set in the gym.
Do you do 30 hard things on a board in a session?
Yeah, like at the peak of my training, I could be at that level. Yeah.
That is a lot of hard boulders in a session. As somebody that'll be pretty psyched if I do, like, I mean, a big day for me would be like 15 or 20, and some of those are kind of easier and whatever, as you're warming up still. But I'm like, God,
Yeah.
that's a lot of hard board climbs.
I think no one really wants to like hop on my training with me. So I'm climbing alone a lot of the time. And when you're alone, you just don't rest as much because like it's boring. There's nothing else to do. So I'm just
Yeah,
like
but I often find that I
firing.
send fewer problems that way because I've not rested enough, and so I just grind myself into a hole. I'm just trying things. I'm like, try this one, and then I sit for a second. I try the next one. I'm like, oh, I'm trying, but then by the end of it, I'm like, oh my God, I didn't send any of them, and I'm totally freaking blasted. But you're doing
Yeah.
that, but you're actually sending them, huh?
Well, I don't really go into it with like the idea of sending or not. It's more about like what can I get out of this boulder? Like I don't log any of my climbs on the apps or anything. I do a
Hmm.
lot of repeats if I found like a specific move helpful in my training, or if I'm like, oh, this is a weakness, I need to like do this boulder every session, I make lists like that.
Do you have some boulders that you do every session?
Yeah, or like sets of boulders, like like when I'm out of shape, it's like, okay, these are the boulders that you need to like work up to then do the medium set and then the hard set,
Oh, yeah.
kind of to track my level.
I shudder to even imagine your easy set. I'm sure it's still like insanely hard. Like, oh God.
Yeah, I guess it depends. Like my level fluctuates a lot throughout the year,
Oh yeah.
like significantly. And I think like that's a good thing mentally, physically, like I give myself breaks.
That's interesting because I think, for somebody that the casual listener would think that if you're climbing 515, sending V15, that you must just be bone crushing all the time. What, how big a variation do you experience through the year?
A lot, significant. I mean, like, I don't know if I can like really quantify it with a grade, but
Well,
if I
like, are
try,
there times in the year where you couldn't climb V12?
probably, yeah. I mean, it would obviously depend on the boulder, but yeah, like if I tried Dreamtime right now, I couldn't do it. That's for sure.
Hmm.
But I think that's like part of pushing yourself to the limit. It's like it's not your limit if you could do it all the time all year.
I feel personally attacked by that a little bit. I'm like, oh, geez, because I basically have never really experienced like peaks, and I'm just kind of like I have like a level, and I just maintain that level all the time. I'm like, I don't know if I ever actually experienced my limit then by that s standard, but I also have never trained hard enough to. I'm just like, huh.
Yeah, I think I do like train really hard, and it's kind of this all-encompassing thing when I'm in it. And like it would not be possible for me to sustain that all year round, mentally or physically.